This video is for the Big Apple Award and Fellowship recommendation. My name is Alberto Melendez, and I am recommending Miss Sonia Rivera Gomez as to be part of this fellowship recommendation. So let me go ahead and start off by kind of going over the things that I want to highlight. Miss Sonia Rivera Gomez. I'm going to be referring to her as Miss Sonia from now on in the video. So when we talk about Miss Sonia and her impact on student learning, one of the things that she is able to do is when she looks at a unit, she's able to determine um, what it is, not just what she's going to teach, but what kind of other items that she's going to bring in order to impact learning. So, for example, not only is she teaching about the curriculum about that specific unit, but she also takes into mind her classroom setup as far as demographics, right? So, our class, our classes have a very high concentration of African Americans and Latino Americans. A lot of them coming from either Mexico or from South America. Miss Sonia is able to use that and to introduce things into her lesson and to her unit in order to ensure that she is reaching out to all demographics within her classroom. So, for example, teaching about manifest destiny, she is able to also talk about and provide explicit instruction on black cowboys and also about Mexicano contributions during this time frame. So she's able to put all these things together so that way there's enough representation within the lessons. The other thing is how she also fosters relationship with the student, not just with students, but with staff as well. Miss Sonia is a very polite individual. She stands at the door. She constantly is greeting students at her door as they're walking in. She's always checking up to make sure that students are okay. She'll do a check-in first thing before the lesson start, or some kind of social and emotional learning to kind of have a gauge at what's happening inside the classroom, how students are feeling. Um, Other thing that she does in order to establish those relationships is that she also holds office hours. Office hours allow students to come during their periods where they may have lunch, and they come upstairs so they can receive extra instruction or one-on-one conferencing, or maybe some guidance on how to complete a homework or an assignment, or maybe finish up on a project. Miss Sonia dedicates this time specifically for the students in order to accomplish their assignments. And she does this, she sacrifices either her lunch period or one of her prep periods in order to provide this service for her students. The other thing is also the way she interacts with teachers. She wants to know what teachers are doing, how they're doing in the classroom. She's constantly asking questions. How do you think lessons are? How do you think you did on this lesson? And she provides constant guidance and advises new teachers on things like how to format their lesson plans and help them out with those type of details. When it comes to instructional practices, Miss Sonia, I consider her to be a master teacher. She has been teaching for over 20 years. I know, being one of her teaching partners, that I've able to witness what she does. So she gives very rigorous type of instruction, but she's also mindful of students who may have, let's say, maybe some difficulties in certain skills or topics, or maybe an individual in an ICT classroom that might have a learning disability. Ms. Sonia is able to construct lessons and assignments um, that that target these specific individuals and their needs. So, besides doing assessments like pre-assessments or regular assessments throughout the topic that she's covering or the unit that we're currently in. She uses other assessments like iReady, Passport to Social Studies. She uses all this information to determine the 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 multiple ways of how she's going to introduce the lesson and how she is going to specifically target either a skill or something that the student is maybe having difficulty, and then design something around that so that way the student can acquire that skill or master the skill. um, she's very good at using the assessments and then putting it all together so that way she can create a comprehensive lesson that is not overwhelming to the student, but is challenging but not overwhelming, and the student will be confident in completing that particular assignment or task. um, as far as contribution um, to the school community, um, one of the things she holds several positions throughout the years. She is currently an eighth grade cluster lead in our school at Bronx Studio School for Writers and Artists. Our middle school is divided into clusters, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade clusters. She is in charge of the eighth grade clusters, and what they do is once a week we have a meeting with our clusters and we talk about things such as academic support, behavior support. We may use the early warning system if we feel like that there's a student that may need some either academic or behavior support, and what are ways that our cluster, different teachers and different subjects, how can we support that particular student. Miss Sonia spearheads that quite often. She has been a UFT rep for the school. She is also part of the graduation committee as an eighth grade. Being in eighth grade, she's the one that does the contacting for setting up the school senior trip. She's also sets up the pictures for eighth grade seniors, so that way they can go in into the graduation book. So that way students can have their pictures in there. Um, the other things that she also does is she's also a mentor, and she's also part of ILT, instructional leadership team. She is also part of student government that she kind of co-chairs with another teacher. So she's heavily involved not just within the school community, but also outside of the school. Constant communication with parents, letting them know about upcoming events for eighth graders, especially for the seniors. So she is in constant communication with parents every single day. And this is the type of work and leader that I feel that the Big Apple Award and Fellowship program needs a person like Miss Sonia. So I would like to end the video more on a personal note. I have known Miss Sonia now since 2018 when I first came to work for Bronx Studio School for Writers and Artists. I came in with a split schedule teaching high school and middle school, and every day I would meet up with her before school starts. We would sit down and we would talk about the lessons. We would talk about some of the things that I'm going to do or present inside the classroom, looking over unit plans with me. She was very helpful in the beginning as I was, kind of maneuvering my way as a new teacher in that particular school. But now, having worked with her for several years now and being a teaching partner, she has shown me so much in being a teacher. As a special education teacher, I tend to have more of a very kind of concentrated focus on specific students, especially students with IEPs. Miss Sonia has broadened my view into looking at all aspects of students, not just students with IEPs or students with disabilities. She has shown me how to create wonderful, rigorous lessons that pushes the envelope of students needing to learn these specific skills, and she does it in a way that when she talks to you and kind of tells you, you know, what are some of the recommendations for that you need to do for a specific lesson, she is very clear and precise, and she breaks it down for you so that way it's easy for you to follow. So um, that is who I'm recommending, and I hope that is she is selected, and she you will see that she will be the perfect candidate for this particular award and fellowship. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.